around these streets forever and never get bored. I'm yelling fire, as if I didn't start it. Found a match and lit it. Look what one tiny spark did. Hi guys, it's Emma, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to the chaos. I do all things music related on here, from putting up covers and show reels to show people what I'm like if they want to hire me as a performing musician, to my favourite type of content, production and songwriting style content. And this video is kind of related to that, but I won't really be doing any production or songwriting in the video. If you've been following me, then you'll know that I have been doing a challenge for the entire of October, where I've been taking the Inktober prompts, which if you don't know what that is, it's a online challenge that normal artists, like drawing type artists, do mainly on Instagram, where a list of 31 prompts get released for every single day of October, and you have to put up a drawing for each of those prompts. I have basically done that challenge, but with songwriting and production. So I took each of the prompts and I wrote a short, under a minute snippet of a song or a short song. Some of them are complete songs. Others are just like the first verse chorus of the song. Anyway, point being, I was doing that for the whole of October, and today is, well, the day this video is going up is the Thursday following it, but today currently is actually Tuesday, which is the 31st of October, which means the last prompt goes up today. Woo! And you'll know that if you tuned in for my live stream that I had that evening. If it feels weird talking about that in the past tense when it hasn't actually happened yet. But anyway, not the point. The point is, I completed this little challenge that I set myself, and I'm very proud. So I wanted to just do an entire video just gloating about it. Now, I wanted to do a video just recapping the challenge and why I did it in the first place and what I've actually gotten out of it, and kind of just asking the question, was it worth it? Was it worth sitting down and producing something for 31 prompts? Basically meaning that I spent the entire of October just recording, writing, production stuffs. I mean, the obvious answer is that yes, obviously it was worth it, yeah. But we're going to give you a 4-point answer. This is not a 2-point question. This is a 4-point show your workings out kind of question. So allow me to show my workings out for justifying why I think this challenge was worth it, and some of the new things that I've tried and the things that I've learnt from having done this challenge. Okay, so the first obvious thing that makes it worthwhile is that I created 31 short snippets of songs, 12 of which I would say I am going to take away and finish to either make into singles that I will release as part of my artist project that I'm going to do next year, or I might release them in other forms. You know, they might be worthy of being pitched to sync libraries, which is something that I'm going to be looking into trying to do more of in the coming year. So I will be taking 12 of these songs for definite and working on them myself over the next few months to finish them off and turn them into full-fledged songs, because some of them turned out really good, in my opinion. And in the opinions of people who've seen the little clips I put up, you know, people generally liked quite a few of them. It was nice to see that people liked the ones that I also liked as well. So there are a few others that I think have potential. I don't know what I'm going to do with them exactly, or I might team up with some other songwriters and producers to finish off a few of them. There are two in particular I really want to team up with a fellow producer and try and finish them off, because I think I could try and do it myself, but I think it's something where if I sit down with another songwriter and producer and we just pretend like we're working to a brief and try and create the song that I had in mind, that it will be better overall for it. There were, I would say, 2 or 3 that in my opinion did not turn out very well and that I will not be revisiting. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Sparkle, and Drip. Those 2 did not turn out remotely usable in any form, I don't think. Like, I don't think it's even worth going back to the drawing board and trying again at them. But even those where it didn't necessarily lead to a song that I'm now going to do anything with, I would say was still useful overall, because the main point of the challenge, more than just creating 31 songs, that was not the point of the challenge. The point of the challenge was to practice production. I wanted to know where my weaknesses lie. I wanted to try out some skills that I've sort of learnt about but haven't really tried using properly in a song yet. And one of the biggest things I really wanted to do was I wanted to work out what my workflow would need to look like, because if I'm going to be doing this sort of production work, then I'll be spending huge amounts of time trying to tackle a variety of projects, and I need to be able to start projects and get a good flow in place to be getting ideas down really quite quickly if I want to be remotely able to cope in that world, especially if I want to be able to take on briefs and stuff. But yeah, one of the big things that I have gotten out of this is that I have put in place a few different templates and presets that I've been working on. So I've got a lead vocal preset now in terms of with just Logic stock plugins on it still that works really well, and that should work fine for a basic guide vocal on any sort of demo I'd be trying to send out to things. And obviously that could wind up being just a first draft that I end up revisiting at some point and changing when I find new plugins that I love more. But the other big thing that I created was that I have created a project template for Logic now, and I've done a little video on this that I will pop up in a couple of weeks' time. Probably next week's video will be that video. Anyway, I've made a project template for basically my songwriting process. And I figured that out and that having that would be a benefit to me thanks to doing this challenge. Because very early on, I was realizing that I was spending huge amounts of time in here when I was supposed to be writing, literally just loading up tracks on Logic so that I could record some guitar parts. But obviously the biggest thing with this was that I practiced a bazillion different production techniques and mix techniques. More of the mix techniques that are about production than are about actual just the overall mix of a track. So here is a list of some of the new techniques that I tried out on this challenge. You guys will probably remember me doing a little video where I reversed a vocal that I'd put reverb on. So basically I took a little vocal sample of me saying the word spiders for the prompt of spiders. I threw a load of reverb on that, reversed it, and popped that back into the track. And then someone on TikTok actually told me that I should try out reversing it, adding reverb, and then reversing it back again. So now you've got the reverb tail from the reversed version in front of your just general spiders. And that's how this turned out. Spiders. And it sounds so cool. On Wonder, I tried out a different little reversey hack. So I've been seeing in some samples that I was looking at on Splice that there are a few that were like reversed piano chords. And I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. So I'd written piano pieces to the prompt of Wonder. It had a few piano bits on it. And as I was listening to the start of it, I was thinking, you know what would sound cool? Is if that first note reversed on itself afterwards. So basically I had this first note of the piano and I thought what I'll do is I'll bounce that to an audio file, I'll reverse it, and I'll leave it in place because it was the right length so that once it was reversed, you get the piano note and then you get the reversed version of the piano note starts coming in immediately. And it sounds so cool. It sounds like this. I bet it would sound really cool with like reversed synthy sounds. One of the big recommendations you get for making your track sound better for modern pop sound in particular is to have multiple kick samples. So I decided on a few of the tracks, I didn't do this on every single track because it depended on what I had time to do and what I was prioritizing the production, but on quite a few of the tracks I have doubled up, or in the case of Castle, I have actually tripled up my kick samples. So there are 3 kick samples on Castle because obviously different kick sounds, they hit more at different frequencies than others, and if you can have like quite a beefy kick sound and then more of a thumpy kick sound and then maybe a kick sound that's got more of that punch through in the top end, and you get an overall more impactful kick than you do just using one kick sample. So here is this me doing that in Castle. That's what it sounded like in Castle. I also did this on Spicy because I specifically wanted a really modern pop kick under. I had an acoustic kit on doing just a kick snare pattern, and I really wanted to throw in some more digital drum sounds, and specifically I really wanted that big beefy pop kick. So I picked one out from the Candy kit that I love so much by UJam. It's kind of sweet and a little bit spicy. In Fire, I did something that I really wanted to have a go at that I was going to try in a variety of the different tracks, and I just couldn't figure out what I would use to make it work. I wanted to try using unusual percussion samples, find some unusual percussion off of Splice and use that to build up a beat. And I just couldn't think of anything good to do with any of the other tracks until I got to the day for Fire, and I was sitting there like, ooh, matches. I really wanted the sound of lighting a match at the start of the track, and as I was exploring that I realised that I could find a bunch of different match related samples, so little people shaking matchboxes and opening matchboxes and stuff like that. I found a bunch of them, I selected the ones I liked, and then I built them up into a basic little pattern. I added in a different kick sound because I couldn't really think of, I was trying to Google like booms, explosions. I thought an explosion type sound would work well as a kick sound, but I couldn't find anything quickly that would work well. I used one of the Beatmaker plugins. I used the Beatmaker plugin that you can get from Splice to just create that, because I'm not really good at using those more drum machine style type plugins and drum machines and stuff like that. They're not something I know my way around quite as well, but I've gotten to know my way around building beats like that a lot more off this challenge, and this is one of the songs where that really flourished, I think. Oh, another really great trick that I saw in a TikTok video. I saw a tip to add a compressor on your bus, on your reverb bus for your lead vocal. Usually when you add reverb to a lead vocal, you're probably going to want to put it on a bus. You do this for a couple of reasons. One is because you're probably going to want to feed other vocals, like the backing vocals, into the same reverbs a lot of the time as well. But also you want a bit more control over how much of that reverb you're actually getting through, and putting on a bus is a really easy way to do that. The tip was to put a compressor after the reverb plugin. So put your reverb plugin on full wet, change it to the settings that you want to get the sound you want, and then put it at the level you want. And if you want a really rich, thick, very reverby sound, you're gonna end up getting a loss of clarity to that lead vocal in particular, and you want a lead vocal to be quite clear in the track. But if you put a compressor on afterwards, put it on quite high settings so that it's compressing straight away as soon as there's any sound coming through, and sidechain it to your lead vocal track, so that every time your actual lead vocal, the actual lines that are being sung, are coming through, the reverb gets dipped down. And what that means is that you get that nice big beefy reverb around the vocal, but it's not muddying up the actual vocal track itself. I'm yelling fire, as if I didn't start it. I'm yelling fire, as if I didn't start it. But yeah, point being, I tried out so many little tricks, and I learned so many tricks as I was doing this little challenge, and I've actually properly learned them, because, you know, you can learn tips and tricks off of YouTube and TikTok videos, yeah, but if you don't sit down and implement on something, they get forgotten so quickly, you know? Like, I'm sure I've learned so many tips and tricks off of TikToks over the years that I've just completely forgotten because I didn't go and apply them to a song straight away. It's really a good idea to just pick a challenge and set yourself a goal that's just around producing stuff for the sake of producing stuff. You know, more like a school project than anything else. And some great things can come out of school projects. Oh, and I nearly forgot, you know, there were also two of the songs, Drip and Massive, where I basically just approached them trying to do something completely different from usual. You know, with Drip, I just really wanted to play with samples, and it wasn't a successful song overall, but it was successful because I just got to sit and play with samples, and that was the point of doing that song. Massive, I really wanted to have a go at doing a purely instrumental track, more geared towards cinema, TV type soundtrack stuff. And when I saw the prompt Massive, all I was thinking was Zimmer, Hans Zimmer. So I just tried to create something like that. I haven't done much instrumental stuff, so that song I would say is not the strongest of the challenge. There's nothing really that unique or great about it, because I have really just tried to recreate those sorts of tracks that you get on those movie soundtracks. It's not Zimmer good, but for a first try, I think it turned out quite well. Like, I have learnt so much and tried out so many things from doing this challenge, and on top of that, I've got the starts of a few songs that I'm really excited about now. So yeah, basically, my point is that the answer to the question at the start of the video is yes. Emphatically yes. It was 100% worth me doing this really intensive challenge that has left me really quite tired, and I probably will take a little bit of a break from from doing a huge amount of production, but I'm going to give myself a week off before I start on the next project, or before I start trying to finish off these. But I had so much fun doing it as well. Anywho, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you haven't seen all of my Inktober songs, they're in my little YouTube shorts on here, and they're posted on all of my different socials, which are all linked in the description below, just so you know. And I'll be putting up some content on my Buy Me a Coffee, which is also linked in the description below, over the next few weeks, some behind the scenes stuff, some little previous versions of songs and stuff like that. So if you would like to see that, you can see that through my Buy Me a Coffee membership, which is like a Patreon. It's linked in the description below. Maybe I should just also get a Patreon and post everything on there as well. well. That's a thought for another day. Let's not worry about that thought today. If you enjoyed what you saw here, then you might want to check out some of the other content on my channel and consider subscribing. Definitely check out some other videos first though, because, you know, subscribing is a big commitment. And you want to know for certain that you're really invested in what I'm doing here before you hit that big red button, because you can't undo it. It's rude to undo it once you've done it. That is all from me for this week, guys. I will see you guys next week with another video.